For many years I've really liked getting out in the hills, and I suppose it's natural to start off doing slightly easier routes and then progressing, because what seemed like a challenge or what seemed quite difficult then becomes quite manageable. And I think for many people, coming to Skye is a culmination of that. The mountains here are pretty forbidding. It's almost got this legendary status, and the Black Cuillin, even the names of the peaks and the name of the mountain range just sort of evokes this horrific, awful beauty. But that's kind of really appealing as well. There's a certain point which you go, what am I waiting for? I should go. In form and shapeliness, in rugged and lonely grandeur, and above all, in their wonderful setting, they surpass all our home mountains.
There can be few more dramatic mountain tops than that of Sligachan, for even higher looms the preposterous blade of rock known as the Inaccessible Pinnacle. The first time I came to the Cuillin was with the South Devon Mountaineering Club. We came up and stayed in the Glen Brittle Memorial Hut. It was pouring with rain and windy for quite a lot of the week. And then a guide came back from the in-pin, and he had been up with 2 clients in sort of 40-mile-an-hour wind and rain, and they'd had a brilliant, exhilarating day. So me and my friend decided that we were going to head up at sort of 4 o'clock in the afternoon and go and have a look and see if we could find the Inaccessible Pinnacle. The rope was billowing out to one side, and we were soaked wet through by the time we got back down, but it was like a real achievement and I guess a big adventure for us. Skye is a special place, particularly the Cuillin. It's wild, rugged and remote, and it's a place of lots of challenges, lots of new adventures.
There's always a risk that people get tribal and you say, well, I'm a hill walker and so I do walking, and I'm a climber and I do things with ropes. But actually, it doesn't really matter. If you're out in the hills and enjoying yourself, that means that we are part of the same tribe. I want to climb the Inaccessible Pinnacle. It's at the top of Sligachan in the Black Cuillin. It's the only Munro that requires climbing skills to get to the top of. I think I'm a bit scared. This is going to be my first trip to Skye. These are big mountains and you cannot underestimate them. And for me, to do it safely, I need to be with someone who really knows what they're doing. I'm going with Lou Reynolds. She's a mountaineering instructor. She's little and pretty and not really what most people sort of think of as a hardcore mountaineer, but she is hard as nails and she really knows her stuff.
Yeah, like the toe actually. Yeah. If you want to do more mountaineering, there's no way to fast track it. The best way is to spend more time in the hills and in the mountains gathering that experience, be it rock climbing or scrambling or walking. It all goes into the melting pot.
There you go. What do you think?
It's really dramatic. I can totally understand why people want to climb it. 100% not sure that I want to climb it.
So we go up that longer side, and so it's kind of gradually takes you up over the top. It is very exposed, but it's like,
is it like
an extension.
proper narrow?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so we come to the top of Sligachan, and then we come down this slope here, which is similar kind of ground to what you've been walking on. And then there's a nice place to get the ropes out and get ourselves ready at the bottom of the pinnacle.
Okay.
Mostly before the sort of 1800s, people didn't go into the mountains. They were considered dark, scary places that you didn't really venture into unless you had to find your sheep. And then botanists and geologists started venturing up there and became interested in the climbing and the mountaineering in its own right.
You can't help but appreciate the history of the place, and that some of the first people to climb in these hills were doing it before it was a popular hobby.
The Pilkington brothers first climbed the Inaccessible Pinnacle, and they got to name it because they climbed it first. and they climbed it with a chap called John Mackenzie who lived in Sconser locally, and he was the first sort of mountain guide who was very much poor and local, but he became people's guide. He knew the mountains well, and so he assisted them.
Inaccessible is a place that requires effort to go to. It's not welcoming you with open arms. You have to really want to get there.
I mean, as humans, we're still seeking those unclimbed peaks and those faraway places that people haven't been to, so there's something alluring and properly adventurous about going somewhere for the first time.
Okay, that was good. I think so. You know, type 2 good. Type 2 good.
For this peak to be called the Inaccessible Pinnacle, it's like there's a challenge that's been thrown down, and I like to try to keep my ego in check, but I don't often say no to a challenge.
Fantastic.
Woohoo! Well done! Fantastic! Good effort! That was amazing!
Play as well. This has given me a taste of British mountaineering. It's blurred the lines between walking and scrambling and climbing, and I've realised just how much there is still to explore, so many more routes to do, so many more skills to practice. I'm hooked. I'll be back.